You can put the ice rink headline up there if you want, Judah, in that last slot. And then you get the headlines in. Like and share the show, guys. Like and share the show. Mics are going hot. I'll confirm. Let me know when that headline's in. The headlines are on screen. And then I'll confirm the streams were on there, J-Dubs. Live on YouTube. Live on my personal Facebook. A lot I want to cover on today's show. California wildfire story is making me very nervous. We live on LinkedIn yet there, J-Dubs? It doesn't look like we're live on LinkedIn.
Well, it will be when I click the button.
All right, let's do that. I don't know if you guys have been downtown lately, but it is treacherous down here. And the concern about it being treacherous down here is it's happening in the month of January when downtown is already hurting because it's cold, it's winter, and people are curbing spending because of Christmas and the holidays. I point out things that need to be pointed out on the program, and I need to point out yet again the poorly executed plan of managing this snowstorm that we knew was going to hit our community days in advance of it hitting. I mean, it's just terribly unfortunate. I continue to hear from, we're now live on LinkedIn, folks in our community that are like, what happened? How are we in this position? So I want to talk about that a little bit today. I want to talk about an ice rink in Greene County. I want to talk, ladies and gentlemen, about 10,000 villages closing on the downtown mall. There are more closings happening. Not my news to announce, but I'm telling you right now, there are more closings happening in retail and food and beverage in the next 30 to 45 days, if not sooner. Leases being renegotiated, assessed, even potentially broken. A lot I want to cover on the program, including the University of Virginia's chance to rebound against Stanford tomorrow at 4 p.m. I want to talk some data that Keith Smith presented on the show today, which I found absolutely fascinating. When Keith Smith presents data, he's presenting the data before the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors presents it. So he is well ahead of the market with the data. I'm going to recap some of the data he presented on Real Talk with Keith Smith today. Keith Smith is a treasure, an institution for Charlottesville, Fluvanna County, Albemarle, and Central Virginia. I sincerely mean that. Judah, which headline most intrigues you today, my friend?
I think it's great that we're getting a nice park back, at least nearby.
I don't think it's official.
No, it might not be official, but
just
I think
the plans have been presented.
Yeah.
Do you think the ice park should be in an outer county, or should it be in Charlottesville or Albemarle County? Density.
I think it would be great if it was right here in Charlottesville, but how feasible is that? Especially with prices the way they are nowadays.
That's a great question. We'll talk about that today. Let's rock and roll, my friend, when you're ready.
Quiet on the set.
Quiet on the set. Good Friday afternoon, guys. I'm Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love CVille show, the last show of the week. I'm looking at my weather app on my iPhone, and Judah, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you scroll to the 8 or 9 p.m. hour, the chance of snow over a 4-hour, 5-hour period of time is significant. A significant chance of snowfall this evening into tomorrow morning, with the low on Saturday 21 degrees, with the low on Sunday 17 degrees, with the low on Monday 19 degrees, Tuesday 18 degrees, Wednesday 14 degrees, and Thursday 13 degrees.
But what are the highs? That's the important question, not the lows.
The highs, the high on Saturday is just above 32. The high on Sunday is just above 32. Monday, it creeps into the early 40s.
That's good.
This is going to be around for a while, especially if there's another blanket that hits us.
I read that it was just going to be
A dusting?
light and fluffy.
Well,
it
we'll see.
might be more than a dusting, but it'll be light and fluffy.
Are you on camera?
No.
Okay, you should be on camera if you're talking. I hope it's light and fluffy, but light and fluffy on top of jagged ice is something to consider. A lot we're going to cover on the program, ladies and gentlemen, today. We're going to talk about the city's execution for managing this snowstorm. I've been contacted by nearly a dozen business owners in downtown Charlottesville that have said their execution has been horrendous. Mm-hmm. To the point they have said that January is already our slow time, and creating any headwinds for us, additional headwinds in January, is catastrophic, as we're still not rebounding from COVID. I want to talk about that today. Yona walked into the studio today. Yona Smith, one of the most sensible people we know. And what'd she say? I've spent 25, 30 minutes driving around trying to find parking. The Market Street garage is completely at capacity. Yeah. What is going on down here? Her exact words. I am parked on a snowbank with half my car in the road right now.
Yeah.
It's insanity. If Sam Sanders in City Hall is issuing any kind of parking tickets today, this weekend, or early next week, that is a kick in the you-know-where. Mm-hmm. That is an absolute slap in the face of taxpayers. There should not be a single parking ticket issued with what is happening on city roads right now. I want to talk about that today. I want to talk on today's program, 10,000 villages closing on the downtown mall. I want to talk on this program some of the data that Keith Smith presented when it comes to real estate, comparing 2024 numbers to 2023, 2022, and 2021 or 2016. I want to talk on this program what we're learning from California wildfires. I encourage anyone that's listening to this program to get on the phone and talk with your insurance agent and make sure the coverage, if you own a home, is up to par. Because I would bet a large portion of Central Virginia homeowners are currently underinsured. And the last thing any of us need is some kind of Mother Nature catastrophe to do damage in this community. I mean, think about the catastrophes we've had in the last 3 months, Judah. Mm-hmm. We had a hurricane destroy the southeast, including much of North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. Asheville is decimated. Eastern Tennessee is decimated. And now wildfires of generational proportions are ravaging the Los Angeles, Pasadena, Palisades area. Mm-hmm. The economic damage for these wildfires, J.P. Morgan put in perspective, over $50 billion, $50 billion with a B, economic damage, economic loss with these wildfires, Judah.
Yeah, there are some expensive houses out there.
Insurance stocks are crashing. Getting an insurance company to pay out, let alone, I've read that the large portion of homes in California are significantly underinsured. The governor of California says, we're not going to allow you to raise your fees on us, Californians. And then the insurance company says, that's fine.
We're out.
We're out of here. We're not going to insure you. Peace out. Go find coverage. It's not going to be us that's going to provide it to you. A lot I want to cover on today's program, including the University of Virginia returning to action against Stanford tomorrow, 4 p.m. ESPNU, the Stanford Cardinal on its West Coast swing. This is a must-win game for Ron Sanchez's team. Not only a must-win game if Ron Sanchez wants to keep his job, but a must-win game for Virginia if it's going to maintain fan morale and player engagement. The University of Virginia, ladies and gentlemen, is in an Atlantic Coast Conference that is not good this year. There is one team of merit, the Duke Blue Devils. No other team is ranked in the top 25. There is not an opportunity to get marquee conference wins that will push UVA into the NCAA tournament. You are going to have to run the table at minimum to have a chance to make the big dance or win the ACC tournament to secure the automatic invitation. Ron Sanchez, his basketball team right now is 8-7 overall and 1-3 in conference play, and faces a Stanford basketball team that's 10-5, 2-2. Tip off 4 o'clock on ESPNU tomorrow. The game is in Stanford. We'll talk about that on the program. Judah wants to highlight the plans for an ice skating rink in Greene County. And I want to analyze retail in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and in Central Virginia. In 1 week alone, we've heard of the closing of 10,000 villages on the downtown mall, Judah. Mm-hmm. In 1 week alone, we have heard Roses in the Pantop Shopping Center is closing. And in 1 week alone, we have heard Reed's is closing and the building traded in an off-market deal to a nonprofit with top-line revenue of $1,300,000. Effing boggles my mind, the turn of events of this week, and it's been a short week because of the weather. Judah Wickhauer is one that's hey, I salute the Sisters of Reed's selling the building to a nonprofit as opposed to putting it on the open market to chase top dollar. I see that look on your face. That's what that look means.
You're close, yeah.
You applaud them.
Oh, no, I think they made a decision, and it's their decision to make.
It is their decision to make.
And in their statement, I believe they were saying that they were excited with where it's going to go in the future, and they like working with someone who's going to continue to work with the community.
Sue Brooks Clements and I have been communicating through Facebook Messenger, and she's indicated she wants to come on the program to talk the Reed side of the sale.
Cool.
We are eager and will welcome you with a rolled out red carpet and open-ended questions, I assure you. I hope the interview happens next week, Ms. Clements. I sincerely mean that. Bill McChesney and Kevin Yancey watching the program. Viewers and listeners, like and share the show. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, 60-plus years of business. John Vermillion, Andrew Vermillion, online at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Support the businesses you want to see live another 60 years. Mm-hmm. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply is one of them. The Small Business Person of the Year, according to the Chamber of Commerce, John Vermillion. Andrew Vermillion continuing the three-generation family legacy at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply on East High Street and online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Like and share the show. Philip Dow, Carol Thorpe, welcome to the program. New year, new you for Carol Thorpe. Down 130 pounds, and she says another 130 to go.
Awesome.
That's phenomenal news,
Definitely.
CT. Phenomenal news. You take the lead on what you've seen downtown and the snowplow execution or lack thereof with the lower third on screen if you could.
It's been, anybody that's driven around knows it's rough. And even further out, I don't park as close, but it's been clearly rough here downtown. I park closer to the First Presbyterian Church. I've got it's probably a 4 or 5 foot tall mound behind my car right now.
On Park Street?
No, this is a couple streets over. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. But it's been my spot for the last few days because apparently nobody wants to get in there. Somebody, I believe, left the spot that I'm currently in, which is probably why they piled all the snow behind the car, leaving, as I've told other people, they don't seem to come back into the sidewalk after they go around a car. So oftentimes you'll find a car still with snow on it, days later, and the spaces in front of it having a mini wall of snow packed up 2 to 3 feet from the curb. making it making it very hard to find a spot where you're not gonna. I got stuck on Tuesday because of that exact thing. The side street off of Park, going around the church, First Presbyterian, is mostly ice.
Make the
Terrible.
comment you made to Yoda Smith today with folks that are in wheelchairs.
Oh, there are spots on the sidewalk that I can barely walk through.
They're
A foot wide.
Right.
What are you doing if you're in a wheelchair?
Thank you.
You just stay home, I guess.
I can barely walk on the sidewalk to get to the studio.
Yeah. And there are places that it's still
In the last
still
3 or 4
unshoveled.
days, I've seen many people falling and tumbling to the ground from ice.
Now, to address your comments earlier, I think they actually did a pretty good job planning for the storm.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes, welcome to the broadcast.
I don't know if you saw, but I remember seeing the roads clearly sprayed.
Oh, yeah?
There's been some limited amount of salt, more on sidewalks than the streets, but I believe they planned for it. But I think it's, as it says in the headline here, the execution was pretty sad.
Yes. The plan was in place. The execution was piss poor.
Yeah.
And leaders need to be held accountable for this. This is why they are paid to lead the city. And the business owners on the downtown mall, and a significant amount of them reach out to us because of the platform and listen and watch the show, have said this is happening to us during the month of January, which is our slowest month of the year, which is making it a ghost town down here.
And next week there's going to be tree work done.
Tree work on the mall.
Yeah.
It is insanity. It is insanity. And it's not going to clear anytime soon.
Nope.
I will highlight this. If Sam Sanders, the city manager, is not instructing his traffic unit in Charlottesville, Virginia, to keep the yellow tickets off car windshields for an extended period of time, then shame on city manager Sam Sanders.
Wait, keeping tickets off. Oh, you're talking about.
There should be no parking tickets.
I don't know if I fully agree with that. There are some people that still have snow on their cars who are taking up spots who have been there all week.
The people that have snow on their cars, that are snowed into their spaces, cannot get their car out because the snow is a trap of ice. You cannot use a snow shovel to dig out of that.
The people with snow still on their cars clearly have not tried to shovel out.
At this point, they could not get out. You would 2-hour ticket a car that's trapped in by a city snowplow?
No, I wouldn't 2-hour ticket. I would question. There are people that haven't moved their cars all week.
100%.
And trust me when I say that if they tried, they could probably get their cars out. People are using the side streets as long-term parking. That's a very different thing from what you're talking about in cases of people having trouble parking. And
I give you that. I agree with you that. I'll push back on the people using the side streets as long-term parking. And Judah's 100% right. That is happening. The folks that are using it as long-term parking are trapped in.
They're not, though. And the thing is, if they're never going to move their cars, it's impossible for a plow to come and get the rest.
100% on that.
If I'm looking at areas where it's staggered. One car, one space full of snow. One car, one space full of snow. One car.
I'm seeing the same thing.
Obviously, a plow can't come in and scoop out. And so now you have every spot between those cars is either an ice trap or just impossible to get into.
John Blair, Logan Wells, Clay Lowe, Vanessa Parkhill, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for watching. Kelly Jackson, Georgia Gilmer, thank you for watching the program. Scott Link, thank you for watching the program. it's the Wild West of parking down here. And it's happening in the slowest month of the year for downtown businesses. Mm-hmm. And it's happening when downtown hasn't recovered since the pandemic. You can make a legitimate argument since the pandemic, post-pandemic, this may be the worst business month or start to a business month since the pandemic has gotten behind us. I want to put that in perspective. Post-COVID, you are looking at the worst start of a business month for downtown Charlottesville right now.
Yeah. We haven't really gotten any snow in I don't know how many years.
Forever. And think about what's happened in the last 90 to 120 days. A hurricane destroys western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee.
Yeah.
Wildfires destroy...
Ravaging the coast.
And you can speak to that geographical area much better than I can.
I've got family there.
Can you put it in perspective, the significance?
I don't know about the significance, but it's terrible. These are, I mean, the Pacific Palisades. Some people will point to the fact that it's a bunch of rich people, but it's not all. Some of them are people that have inherited homes. I believe a lot of them are grandfathered into their tax assessments, so they're managing. But now a lot of it's gone. My dad was talking to family because we've got family in that area. Thankfully, fortunately, by God's grace, I haven't heard of anyone in my family that is personally directly affected, but it's terrible. And as you said, insurance companies are pulling out of the area because Newsom says nope, you can't charge that.
Newsom earlier in 2024 used his platform as governor and said, we are not going to allow you to rake us over the coals with exorbitant fees, insurance companies. Then the insurance companies said, okay, governor, we are not going to insure your taxpayers and residents in California. And after that squabble took place, the most significant fire in California history happened.
And sadly,
I'll put it in perspective. You add it. This from CNN. The wildfires engulfing Los Angeles County have scorched more than 36,000 acres or 56.25 square miles, a total area larger than some of the United States' most densely populated cities. For example, so far, at least 5 blazes have burned an area equivalent to the size of Miami, Florida, 2.5 times larger than Manhattan, New York, larger than San Francisco and Boston, and around 3.5% the size of Rhode Island. The travesty that is now being discussed with the wildfires in Los Angeles, a large majority of homes in California are underinsured. Homeowners looking to keep rates and premiums in check do not have coverage significant enough to cover the cost of completely replacing a home, especially in today's 2025, where materials and cost of goods are all way more expensive than when their policies were put initially into place.
And the sad extension of that issue is that likely people with deep pockets will come in and buy up a lot of that land.
Bingo.
For pennies.
They're capitalistic endeavors.
Pennies on the dollar, and
there it is.
And the people that lived there they're gonna take it, because what else can you do?
$50 billion economic impact so far. $50 billion economic impact so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a God-fearing man. I say it on the program all the time. Man of faith. Our faith is being tested, and it has been tested significantly by Mother Nature and her undeniable strength. A hurricane of generational proportion destroys much of western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee and the states around those two areas. Not even 90 days later, 60 days later, the most significant wildfire in California history.
Exacerbated by the fact that California has not been keeping full reservoirs.
Not full reservoirs, piss poor management, and the governor's office, and political posturing from the top elected official in the state, and a very visible battle with insurance companies. What we learned from this, you should talk to your insurance agent and make sure your coverage on your personal residence, any rental property that you own, is up to today's standard. And today's standard is not a reflection of when the policy was put in play, because labor and cost of goods, materials, everything have dramatically increased.
No doubt.
And you read, you listen, you hear that inflation is still a point of concern. Tariffs, mass deportation, and the impact that they can have on inflation is something that you should consider with your insurance. Talk to your agent, please. Please. Bill McChesney, a lot of those folks in California do not have or have not been able to get insurance. Kevin Yancey, LA will become the largest camper city in America. Kevin Yancey, with the surefire snowstorm coming, the city, like a lot of cities, restricts street parking in the tightest areas, i.e. downtown, just before the storm to stop that problem of not getting cars buried or cars snow-piled.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really surprising that that Charlottesville may not have the most comprehensive reactions and reaction time.
I don't take that as a legitimate. I disagree. Yeah. Youngkin declared a state of emergency well in advance. We knew that this snow was going to dramatically impact our community 5 days before it happened.
I know. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that...
what, they don't have the equipment in play? Yet they're spending $82 million to remodel a middle school. Let's spend $82 million to remodel a middle school to help the disenchanted and disenfranchised. But let's not invest in the snow removal equipment we need to survive today. We'll spend $82 million to remodel a middle school, gentrify the middle school in the process, so the folks that get to enjoy the $82 million remodel are going to be 1%ers, 2%ers, 3%ers, 5%ers, their children, and not the disenfranchised or disenchanted that we're trying to support today. Make it make sense. Let's spend $82 million on a middle school remodel, but not invest in proper snowplow equipment. Make it make sense. Let's think about 5 or 7 years from now, but not think about the 8 blocks in the downtown mall that have not recovered since COVID. Make it make sense. Let's give a bridge loan to a nonprofit developer to keep a trailer park for 36 months instead of building housing right now when the community needs housing. Let's kibosh a developer on East High Street from building 250 or 260 apartments and instead buy the land from one of the wealthiest people in Albemarle County, Wendell Wood, and turn it into a park. Make it make sense.
Well, in regards to that, we've talked about the fact that the rental housing is not exactly the most necessary in this area.
Multifamily housing is soft.
Multifamily
housing is soft. There's an abundance of multifamily housing. If anyone tells you that multifamily housing is something this community needs, you push back on them. There's an abundance of multifamily housing. Apartments, condos for rent, an abundance of it.
Yeah.
We have a glut of multifamily housing.
So did we really need those units on on East High.
If we didn't need those units on East High Street, I don't want anybody else to tell me about new zoning ordinances and more density.
But we do need housing.
So you take the East High Street, you just build single-family detached homes with white picket fences? You just take that land on East High Street and build single-family homes with white picket fences. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that.
Well, what kind of housing you want to build? You want to put the slide on screen, slide number 1 from Real Talk? Look at this data. JPT, Janice Boyce Trevelyan, Suzanne Daly, and Vanessa Parkhill. I'm getting to your comments in a matter of moments. This is from Keith Smith's Real Talk with Keith Smith.
Which one do you want?
This one, please.
Number 1?
Yes, sir. This is the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors footprint year-over-year comparison, courtesy of Keith Smith and Real Talk with Keith Smith. Number of homes sold in 2024, 2,978. That's new construction and existing construction. In 2024, we had 2,978 units sold.
You sure this is number 1?
This slide right here, there's a number 1 on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like it.
Okay, thank you very much. In 2024, there was 2,978 homes sold. Judah, take a look at it.
Yeah.
You compare that to 2023, and there were 3,110. That's a 4.2% drop in homes sold versus 2023. Look at it compared to 2016, 3,534 homes sold in 2016.
Yeah.
So 2024 versus 2016, there was nearly 16% less homes sold in 2024. And the startling number is the median sales price on the bottom. In 2024, the median sales price was $485,000 for the car footprint. In Albemarle County, that number was $542,000. City of Charlottesville, $530,000, the median value. And that's a significant uptick in the car footprint, 7.8% versus 2023. The homes are selling less, and the price points are higher. And in 2025, that number is going to get only more significant. There was a large portion of this population, and you want to put me on a one-shot. A large portion of this population that said, I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait until interest rates drop. I'm going to wait until a 5 handle. I'm going to wait until a 5 handle or a low 6 handle before I make a home purchase. And in the process of waiting and continuing to rent, all you saw happen 2023 versus 2024 was the median price jumped $35,000. Nearly 8%. In Albemarle County, it went from $510,000. Put slide 2 on. Let us know when that's on screen. Albemarle County, the 6th largest county in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We have slide 2 on screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the data. Real Talk with Keith Smith. Look at Albemarle County. 2024, the median sales price, $542,000 versus $510,000 in 2023. Look at the units, 2023 versus 2024, an 8% drop in units sold. Look at the data. Understand the numbers. Put City of Charlottesville on screen. Look at the data. Slide 3, please, sir. Slide 3. Look at the jump in the City of Charlottesville, Judah Wickower. The largest jump. This is insane. 2023, the median sales price was $460,000. 2024, the median sales price was $530,000. This is insane. You're talking a median jump of $70,000.
Yeah.
Judah, you're sitting on stacks and stacks of paper.
I'm in Albemarle County.
Good for you. You're sitting on stacks and stacks of paper. To be Judah Wickower, ladies and gentlemen.
Says Jerry.
So I'm sometimes very, very, very envious of the Judah Wickower lifestyle. Single man, going to work, 9:30, leave at 6:30. Jack Brown's happy hour and dinner. Fraternize and patronize. No dirty diapers. No school drop-off. No 3 a.m. wake-ups with stomach aches and runny noses and flus and whooping cough and hand-toe mouth or whatever the hell that is. Woke up our 2-year-old.
Hand-hoof disease.
Woke up our 2-year-old this morning. He did a number 2 all up and down his back.
That's good to know.
All up and down his back.
Like hearing about that.
Literally. Our German Shepherd gets sprayed by a skunk. Runs amok in the neighborhood. Our 6-year-old likes to pelt people with tennis balls. John Blair on LinkedIn. To Judah's point, look at the linked city code section. The city can order streets cleared before or after snow for snow removal. The city could order certain streets clear in advance of snow so that the issue that Judah is talking about, parked cars, doesn't occur for snow removal. Here's the link. That's fantastic info from John Blair. The city could order certain streets clear in advance of snow so that the issue that Judah is talking about does not take place. He's basically saying 24 hours or 48 hours before the snowstorm, you could potentially close off downtown streets and say you cannot park here so the plows could clear the spaces.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I remember from Maine. There were places where you had to be off the street, and that way plows weren't blocked in any way.
Janice Boyce Trevelyan, I hope they block Chinese companies from buying property in California. It happened in the Bahamas after Dorian. Suzanne Daly, there are some reports that insurance companies in California were made aware of the gross mismanagement of infrastructure that increased their risk of covering residents for fire. If this is the case, you can't blame them for knowing the risk and pulling out. The California leaders knew this and should have pivoted in their management approach once they knew companies were pulling fire protection. One of the best comments of the day from Suzanne Daly.
Yeah.
Vanessa Parkhill, last snow I remember causing major problems, power outages, was early January 2022. She's exactly right. I lived in Keswick at the time. The electrical lines were above ground. We lived in Glenmore. Our home was out of power for an entire week. My wife was boiling water on the stove and utilizing the boiling water to bathe our children. She let it cool down at first. Don't call CPS on us, please. That was not scary. It was not the McDonald's coffee drive-through incident. We had gas fireplaces that kept the house warm. Now we're on the other side of Albemarle County in Ivy. The lines are interestingly below ground. Not above ground, but low ground. And fortunately, the home we purchased has a whole house generator, which was a strategic decision after spending a week with 2 children without power.
Yeah.
Janice Boyce Trevelyan, Baltimore opened garages to park in the city to park during storms. That's a damn good idea. Excuse my language, viewers and listeners. Opening up the Market Street and Water Street parking garage for those that needed to park in a 2-hour window or a 2-day window. Sam Sanders, the city manager, could have said, Charlottesville downtown, the epicenter of commerce and governance.
If you're on these streets, you can not park on the street for the next 2 days.
There it is.
But you will be able to
park in the garage for free for 2 days.
Enter the garage for free for 2 days. After that, you will be charged because obviously they need those spots too.
Because this was a Sunday snowstorm. So they could have said there's no parking in downtown Charlottesville. Sam Sanders, I hope you do this next time. You knew in advance that this was happening. No parking in downtown Charlottesville for all of Sunday. And if you need to come into downtown Charlottesville and park, we will waive the parking charge at the Market Street Garage. Not sure they can do it at the Water Street Garage. Can they do it at the Water Street Garage with parking czar Mark Brown's influence over there? That's a good question. Market Street Garage, they can. If you have to come Sunday downtown, park here for free. Can't park anywhere on the streets. We're going to snowplow the parking spaces. JBT, you're making the program better. Rhea Marshall Barnes watching the program. Gary Palmer. Kevin Higgins. State Farm pulled 70,000 fire policies in California. Kevin Yancey says, send whoever's in charge of snow removal to Erie, Pennsylvania. They received 98 inches of lake effect snow and never closed a single school. It can and should be a painless process.
Wow.
Oh, 1:15 with a 1:45 meeting that we still got to do a little prep for. Put the downtown mall's 10,000 villages to close. Lower third on screen. The reason I'm bringing up the closure of 10,000 villages, people say, oh, it's a chain, who cares? I don't buy that. Local people work at 10,000 villages.
Yeah.
This hurts the community.
That's true of every chain.
Exactly.
And this is more than just a Walgreens or a
CVS. Put it in perspective.
Yeah. I don't know all the details, but 10,000 Villages is a nonprofit, and they, from what I've heard, they do very well by the artisans whose crafts they sell, where a lot of those artisans through other platforms might be poorly paid and poorly treated. So make that as you will, but at the heart of it, it's another business leaving the downtown mall. And if we think that that locally owned businesses, small businesses with local owners are having it tough, what does that say when the larger businesses,
there it is,
the Burger Kings and the 10,000 Villages start pulling up the stakes?
There's one Wendy's in our area. There's one Burger King that we know of in this area. There's 2 Burger Kings in this area. There's one Wendy's in this area. 10,000 Villages can't make it. Roses can't make it. Reed's is closing. Blue Moon Diner's closing. Moose is closed. Lumpkin's closed. Is Draft Tap Room ever going to open?
It's looking a little better.
When is the guy told me he was right around the corner from opening?
I saw some railings. I saw some countertops.
I saw the countertops, the kegs, the floor's done, the equipment's out. They're putting up TVs. Just open. Give me that taste of the beer. Blue Ridge Country Store. The word on the street is the Bagby's folks are going to take it over. When's that going to happen?
What's going to happen to Bagby's? You think they're going to use both of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Commonwealth Sky Bar. Get Pasta Chico. Passiflora, Sky Bar. Good Lord. That hasn't been anything since you-know-who ran it into the ground. We don't have to get into that.
No.
Don't need to kick a dying dog when he's down. Dennis Cantonen watching the program. He says, I absolutely love this show. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do our best. I'm just following Judah's lead. Nora Gaffney watching the program. Ay, mi madre. We're analyzing retail in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia. I'll give you one shopping district that's strong. Which one do you think I'm going to name?
I think you're going to name Barracks.
Bingo. Give me another shopping district that's strong in Charlottesville or Albemarle County. Don't you say Fashion Scare Mall.
No, why would I say
Don't you share
Square Mall?
Fashion Scare Mall. Don't you say Stonefield.
Stonefield was packed over Christmas.
Don't you say the Pantop Shopping Center or Albemarle Square or Seminole Square or Rio Hill Shopping Center or 29 Place. Don't you say Fifth Street Extended.
Stonefield, all I know is when I was there with going with my family to do some Christmas shopping, it was packed in there.
Yeah, it's called Trader Joe's.
No, there definitely was.
It's called
not,
the movie theater.
It definitely was not all movie theater and Trader Joe's.
You say those shops are thriving?
I'd say they were bumping during Christmas time. I don't know if that same will be the same will be true.
It ain't Blazers at Brooks Brothers. Button ups, not button downs.
Since you learned what those are now.
Just figured out what that was. There's no such thing as a button down shirt.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, sorry. A button down shirt as we know it is not a shirt that buttons down your chest. A button down shirt is a shirt that has button down collars.
A button down is a button up with button down collars. Button up means it's got buttons.
Can you show them? You can do some modeling right there? You got a buttoned up shirt. You got a button down shirt. No, do you have button down collars?
It's a button up, not a button down.
There it is.
I've got the same thing Keith does. Those little
sties?
those little inserts.
What are those stays? A sty is what's on your eye. A stay goes in the collar. Am I right?
Yeah.
Or is a sty in your collar and a stay is on your eye?
A sty is definitely in your eye.
Sty's in your collar and a stay's on your eye?
No.
Or is a sty on your eye and a stay's in your collar?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Our oldest son gets styes. Those are no good.
Those are horrible.
You get styes? I feel so bad when he gets a sty or a 6-year-old.
I think I may have had one a long time ago.
Everyone asks him, what's on his eye? He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
I wouldn't either.
You got to soak it with boiling water on a rag
Oof.
to get it to pop.
Yeesh.
Get a 6-year-old to sit on a couch with a hot water rag on his face. Judah, single man, ready to mingle over there, patronizing and fraternizing the Greg Brady at Jack Brown's, having pints of beer and coming into work at 9:30 and not soaking 6-year-olds' eyes with hot water rags to get styes to pop, or taking 2-year-olds out of sleep sacks and watching as their huggies didn't do their job. Splitter splatter up their back all through their shoulder blades. That was today's wake-up call.
The grass is always greener.
That was literally today's wake-up call. Somewhere in the 5:30 area of the morning. What else do we have on the headlines at the 1:20 marker with a 1:45 client meeting?
Well, we've got an ice rink coming to Ruckersville, potentially.
You want to give them the who, what, when, where, why? I'm all for an ice rink coming to Central Virginia. We need an ice rink is something that would be great. I'll give you this. If an ice rink did not make it in downtown Charlottesville, in the most densely populated area of a 300,000 person region, downtown, ice rink failed. Ice rink failed downtown. Why is that ice rink going to make it in Greene County? An ice rink failed in the most densely populated, consumer spending focused pocket of Central Virginia. How is that going to have success in Greene County?
Businesses fail all the time, and other businesses pop up and take their place, sometimes the same businesses.
And some entrepreneurs are so punch drunk with their chutzpah and their vision that they don't read history books. I see it every day. There are entrepreneurs so punch drunk with their idea for a concept and their sense of self-worth, their chutzpah, that they do not read history books. Explain how an ice rink makes it in Greene County if it did not make it in downtown Charlottesville. And I'll leave it at that. A conversation for your cocktail party that's not going to happen this weekend because, frankly, you're going to get snowed in. It's going to probably happen the following weekend.
No one's getting snowed in tomorrow.
Vanessa Parkhill makes the argument the philosophy of just being able to stay home because it snows is a wealthy person's philosophy and not an actual working man's philosophy. It's a great point. Albemarle County not in school today. Albemarle County not in school yesterday, Wednesday, Tuesday, or Monday. Albemarle County parents, their kids have been out of school for 3 weeks, nearly a month. Private schools were in school this week. Last topic of the program, the University of Virginia men's basketball team faces Stanford tomorrow. Tip-off is at 4 o'clock on ESPNU. This is a must-win game for Ron Sanchez's Virginia team that is a shocking 1-3 in conference play. UVA is 1-3 in the ACC, 8-7 overall. This is a must-win game. That is said without exaggeration or hyperbole. 1-3. You lose this and you fall into the cellar of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Ron Sanchez is not only coaching for his job, but guys, Kyle Guy in the beginning of the season, I'll put in perspective. Kyle Guy in the start of the year said, I'm going to give up my European basketball career where I was earning good money to join Tony Bennett's coaching staff as an assistant coach. Today, Kyle Guy has no Tony Bennett, and he's an assistant on a coaching team, on a staff that is 8-7 overall, 1-3 in conference play, and is literally on the cusp of having the entire staff turned over. Think about the decision of Kyle Guy. Think about the decision of Day-Day Ames. Think about the decision of any of the guys on the team. Friday edition of the program. My name is Jerry Miller. The star of the program is Judah Wickhauer. I'm so very grateful for your viewership and listenership on a chilly Friday afternoon. We're back on the saddle on Monday. Take care, everybody.